What if I told you that investing just $200 a month could realistically turn into more than $1 million over your working life? It sounds like a scam or a fantasy, but it's actually just math, and today I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works. Let's keep this simple. We're going to invest $200 every single month into a diversified, low-cost investment like a broad stock market index fund. And we're going to do it consistently for about 40 years, roughly the span of someone's working career, say from their mid-20s to their mid-60s. That's it. No lump sums, no lottery winnings, just a steady monthly habit. To do this math, we need to assume some average annual return. Historically, the broad stock market has delivered average annual returns often cited in the neighborhood of 10% before adjusting for inflation. Though any given year can be wildly different, some years deeply negative, others strongly positive. We're using that long-term historical average purely as an illustration, not a guarantee, because no one can predict future returns with certainty. Here's the key idea. Every dollar you invest doesn't just sit there, it earns returns, and then those returns earn their own returns. Over the first few years, your $200 monthly contributions make up almost all of your balance. But as decades pass, the growth generated by the account itself starts to dwarf the money you actually put in. By year 40, using that historical average return, the math works out to a total balance in the ballpark of $1.2 million, and the vast majority of that isn't money you contributed, it's growth on top of growth. Here's the part that surprises people. If you shorten that timeline by even 10 years, the ending balance drops dramatically, not by a little, but by a huge percentage. That's because compounding is exponential, not linear, and the last decade or two of the timeline often contributes more growth than all the earlier years combined. This is why starting early, even with a small amount, tends to matter more than waiting and trying to invest larger amounts later. It's important to be honest about the limits of this example. This calculation ignores inflation, which erodes the purchasing power of that future dollar amount. It also ignores investment fees, which can quietly eat into returns over decades, and taxes, which depend heavily on what type of account you're using. In real, inflation-adjusted terms, that $1.2 million wouldn't buy what $1.2 million buys today. It's a useful illustration of compounding, not a prediction of your actual future purchasing power. Also worth remembering, this math assumes a smooth average return every year, but real markets are anything but smooth. There will be years of sharp declines and years of strong gains, sometimes back-to-back. Historically, investors who stayed consistent through the downturns and kept contributing were the ones who benefited most from the eventual recoveries, rather than trying to guess when to get in or out. If you want to put this kind of thinking into practice, the general approach many long-term investors use is to automate a consistent monthly contribution into a diversified, low-cost investment vehicle inside a tax-advantaged account when available, and then largely leave it alone for years or decades. The specific amount you contribute and the account types that make sense for you depend on your personal financial situation, so it's worth thinking through your own numbers or speaking with a qualified financial professional. So to sum it up, a modest, consistent monthly contribution, given enough time and a reasonable long-term market return, can mathematically grow into a surprisingly large sum through the power of compounding. The two levers that matter most are how much you contribute and how long you let it grow. And of those two, time tends to be the more powerful one. If this helped make compounding click for you, hit subscribe for more videos that break down real personal finance and investing concepts in plain, honest language, no hype, just the math. See you in the next one.